All right, ladies and gentlemen, very big welcome to ICT204. We're going to talk today in tutorial 7. What I'm covering today is very important because you need to be going away very shortly. You need to go and actually be working on your agile assignment. So it's very important that you actually listen to all of these items that we are going to be covering. Make sure you're actually understanding them and make sure you're going to go and start working on your assignment as required. Now, the first thing really is about ensuring we're going to go and talk about the groups, but you guys already have a groups, and because you already have the groups, I've just asked if anybody would like to make any changes, and obviously no one want to change. So I will keep the groups intact, which is better anyway for you because it will make it easy for you to be able to go and get the right outcomes rather than having to go and learn how you guys need to go and work together one by one. So you basically work together already, you know what needs to be done, you got used on having an approach to working together, and that's how we're going to go and continue to be able to go and get the job done. Now, the first thing that we need to go and do for today is I would like you to go to agilemanifesto.org. I would like you to go and read that page, read the information that is published there. I'm going to go and probably try to share a screen with you from my end. agilemanifesto.org. So I want you to just have a quick read of that. The screen is shared. So have a look about that, guys. All right, so as you can see, there are a number of aspects. So it's about really very focused on delivering software projects. It's very much talking about a number of aspects to actually bear in mind. So individual interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following the plan. So guys, could you please tell me which of these items are important? Which of these items are important? All of them, some of them, and why?
Items on the left.
Yeah, so item on the left are what? Are important or very important?
More important.
Okay, does that mean that the items on the right are not important? Does it mean the items on the right are not important?
Also, it is important, but the item on the left are more important than the
correct.
Right
so it's not saying, the principle is not saying don't have a process. It's not saying don't have a tool. It's not saying don't have documentation. It's not saying don't make contract. It's not saying don't follow the plan. All what it's saying is there are things that are more important. So it's saying respond to change. Now, when a change comes to you, they're going to come and tell you we want something extra. What are you going to do about it? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to understand what extra they want. And based on your understanding about what extra they want, what are you going to do? You're going to simply go and start working on delivering exactly what the client really requested in terms of all of those various changes. So that doesn't mean, that means you still need a plan. You still need to develop a plan, create a plan, deliver the things that people really want. So it's not really saying don't have a plan. It's simply saying, well, we want you to go and try to have a plan, but the plan needs to be about all of these changes that you've been requested, all of these various important things that you've basically been asked to go and actually deliver. So it's really about thinking about both of these and delivering both of these items together. Now there's obviously here the principles that I mentioned earlier. So they are basically listed again here, the 12 principles. So this is really all of these, this is a foundation. So these are the guys who went, sat down, sat down over a weekend, started sitting down and delivering all of these principles of what it means to go and be agile. They basically came up with all of these principles, and I'll tell you, these principles are very important. You can see here how many languages they're in, simply because they've been basically implemented in so many areas all around the world to be able to go and get the outcomes that need to go and be delivered. So it's really giving people of various, if you want, languages, the ability to go and be able to understand Agile and understand what needs to go and happen from an Agile perspective. Now, it is really about not simply understanding those principles, it's really about being able to go and apply all of those principles within your assignment. So I'm going to start by playing this YouTube video about basics of Slack. So I'll just play it up and then we're going to continue from there. And the reason why is because this is the tool you need to be using for your assignment. There are a couple of tools we're going to talk about, but that's one of them. So I'm going to play it for you. You can understand it, see what basically needs to happen, and we'll talk about it further in a minute.
Hey guys, Austin here again, back with the second tutorial in our Ascend Slack series. That's some alliteration for you. This tutorial is going to be a lot more about how to actually use Slack. If you're not signed up for Slack yet, you don't know how to, go ahead and watch the last video and then come back to this one when you're done. In this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on 4 of the main features of Slack. That is direct messages, channels, search, and pins. And it's okay if you don't understand those yet. That's what this whole video is about. We'll teach you what each one of those mean, basically. Okay, so I think the easiest one of these to understand is direct messages. So we'll go ahead and start off with that one. As you can see over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you have this huge panel down here. It is called direct messages, or for short, DMs. Basically what you can do is you can go through and you can see all the people on our team. There's a bunch of people. And if you wanted to message one of them individually, you would just click on their name and message them. So this is basically similar to text messaging somebody or sending them a message on Facebook or emailing them directly. This is the same idea. Conversation between you and them, completely private, not visible to the rest of the team. So for example, let's say we wanted to message Autumn. I would click on her name and you can see her beautiful face down there. And we can say, hey, so I messaged her and she will receive that message now. If she wanted to respond back, she could later. Another way of doing this is to go up to this little plus sign that's right next to the direct messages name right there. You can see that little plus sign. If we click on that, we can search for a person on the team. So if we don't see them right away and we just want to search for someone, let's say we wanted to message Kona. I'll type in Kona's name, click on his name, and then hit go. I'll also say hey to him. Okay, and then the final piece of direct messages is if you wanted to message multiple people. So let's say we wanted to message Kona and Autumn. I would type in both of their names and then hit go. And then I could start messaging both of them. Hey to both of you. Both of you. And then again, I would hit enter in order to send a message. As you can see, it's a common theme that I'm typing into this bottom bar down here. Basically, whenever you want to send a message, you'll be typing into that bottom bar, and then when you're done, you'll go ahead and hit enter, and it'll send the message. Cool, so now we've sent a message to Kona individually, Autumn individually, as well as both of them together. Group DMs can also include more than 2 people, but I've just used 2 people in this example. All right, so that's DMs. Hopefully you got a quick little taste of those. Those you probably shouldn't need as much, maybe for individual talking, but for group talking, we want to use these things called channels. The best way to think of a channel is in terms of like channels on TV, actually, in my opinion. So for example, if you wanted to watch something on a certain topic, you might go to your directory and look for, sports or for food or for movies or something like that. But let's take Food Network channel as an example. So looking at Food Network, obviously it's going to be some channel that has some focused programming around food, right? Same idea with the channels in Slack. Let's say we wanted to get some focused conversation around inspiration. We would click on this inspiration channel. Again, you can see up here that there is a nice little sidebar with the different channels listed up there. But once I click on inspiration, it brings me to the inspiration channel. And you can see that Jim has already posted a couple of things in here. He's written a document and stuff like that. That's really cool. And he posted a nice little inspirational thing. And this is really kind of akin to sending a email blast to everyone within the channel, right? So everybody who's in this channel, you can view the people who are in it. We'll get a notification and we'll be able to see what's going on inside of this inspiration thing. So for example, let's say I wanted to post a message like, hey, I found this cool inspirational video. And then I would like paste a link to a video, maybe youtube.com/this is a fake video. Obviously it's not a real video, but if I send it, you can see it'll actually link it all up right there. Anybody who's in this channel can click on that and view the video, and they'll be ready to go. The beauty of these channels is that it's transparent. So anybody on the team can join one of these channels. You are defaulted to joining a few of them. And also that they're they're searchable to everybody on the team. So the brain is really where everybody else can see what's going on everywhere else. This is really where a lot of the conversation, focused talk is going to happen. And it's really going to open up a lot of avenues, we hope, through the search and through the conversational aspect of Slack. So speaking of search, let's go ahead and talk about search a little bit. As you can see, there's always this kind of ever-present search bar up here in the top right. It's really, really super powerful. You just click on it, just like any other search bar, and you can see that it has these special search narrowers. But for now, we'll just do a basic search. For example, let's look up this tutorial thing. So I typed in tutorial and hit enter, and then you can see right here, Kona has shared a file, Slack tutorial, and then he commented on it. So if I click on this, it'll bring me right to the file that Kona shared, and it's the Slack tutorial that I wrote. All right, so now we've covered DMs, channels, and search. The last topic I want to cover is how to view pins on a channel. So pins are, you can see that they are up here. Basically, pins are a way of highlighting important messages that were sent in the channel that should be viewed by everyone. This one has 0 pins, so it's not a very good example, but if we go over to the internal documents channel, again here on the channels sidebar, you can see that it actually has 1 pin. And so I'll go ahead and click on this pin up here, and you can see that there's 1 pinned item, and it says important and useful links. So I'll go ahead and click on that as well. And right here, you can see actually it's a post. It's a nice little document containing all the links to our Google Drive folder, meeting notes, branding materials, SC fundamentals, and it'll be updated continuously as more and more important links show up. So whenever you want to view that, you can just go over to the internal documents channel, click on the pins, and then you can click on the pinned messages. Cool. So that's how to generally use Slack. Again, if you want to send a message, you just type into this bottom bar down here, anything you want, and then you hit enter in order to send it. And if you're having trouble deciding where to post something, I've made a nice little flow chart that you can follow as you're getting the hang of things. And it'll kind of generally point you in the right direction. And again, there's really no rules here. This is just kind of general ideas of how to use Slack. We just want you to kind of get the feel of it, and then we can kind of start breaking rules as we go along. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully that clears some things up for those of you who are new to Slack. We, Kona and I, both think that Slack is going to be a really powerful tool for us to use, and hopefully it will help us further the conversation of our group. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching, and feel free to watch the next video. Kona's going to be hosting that one. It's going to be about more kind of the intermediate features of using Slack. Hey guys, awesome.
All right, guys. So before we even do that, what I want to do is I want to go and open a file. And I want to go and make sure you have a quick read through that. So that's just getting that file. Okay. So before we go into anything, could you please start reading this requirements to start from here all the way to down. So let's start looking at that. So can you notice here? It's saying you need to submit completed documentation in Slack and Trello. Now we'll talk about Slack and Trello in a minute. And because I teach project management at a postgraduate level, I'll also try to play you some information that will basically be helpful for you. So, but let's continue. I'm going to go a bit more down.
So we start this in the new year, right?
Well, the submission starts being on a new year, but you need to start working on that now. Like,
so you want us to do this over the Christmas break?
Well, it's not really, you know, whether I want it to be done, to be honest with you. It's just more about the timelines that has been set up. So let's talk about the timelines, because I'm not 100% sure about the timelines. Let's just check them out before we discuss when they are due, but let's just finish understanding the requirements, and then I'll go through the timeline that I set by the coordinator on what is needed and by when they are needed. So let me check that in a second. So the whole thing is due in week 11, but we'll talk about the rest. This is a marking guide here that they're communicating. So set up the team on Slack, communicate using Slack, set up the teams on Trello, manage a project in Trello. All of these things, I'm going to help you understand all of it today. I will help you to go and set up the account, do whatever you need to be done from that perspective. I'll also show you how students go and apply it in a postgraduate level. So I'll go through that. Report on Agile, show the application of Agile concept. So Kanban, Slack, daily sprint meetings, sprint retrospectives, thinking about all of these various components. And obviously there's a participation component that we need to go and think about. So in summary, there's a foundation, and that foundation is everything needs to be kind of submitted onto these two tools, which are basically Slack and Trello. So I'm going to now move to this tutorial here. So what I want you to do, this here, you know, we spoke about setting up, you know, it's really about setting up Kanban and setting up the Slack. So what I want to do now is I would like you to go to slack.com/download. So I'm going to just go through that on a browser showing you. Okay, so slack.com/download. I usually go to slack.com anyway, like I wouldn't even go to downloads. But what I could do, you can try it for free. So you will need to try it for free. For me, I don't need to try it for free. I can actually log in because I've already created it in the past. So if we go and sign in, check your email code. All right. I haven't logged in for a while, so SSJ. Okay, so that's the COI testing that I created previously. So you can see that. Just wait for it to load. You can see that basically we're talking about all of these channels that were mentioned in the video a bit earlier. So if I go, if you don't want to download it, if you don't want to download the application, you'll be able to come here. You'll be able to create your channel, assignment 3 channel. You'll be able to communicate with people directly. If it's a channel, let's say, you're going to be able to go and communicate, attach files to your computer. You'll be able to go and think whether you need to go, for example, save, share messages, do whatever. Like all of these things are actually available options for you. But you see here, the main thing you need to do is you need to go and create the actual Slack account, and you need to be able to go and invite your own people. So the first task I would like to go and give you for today is I would like you to go to slack.com. I would like you to go and try it for free. Create a workspace. And basically start adding all of your details. Once you're done, you have all of those emails. So you guys gave me the emails relating to your assignment. You're gonna invite all your friends to go and join that system and start communicating using that system. Then you're gonna say, why are we gonna communicate using that system? The reason is very simple, because all your communication that you do throughout the project needs to happen here. So to be able to make your job very easy and getting the marks very easy, you are going to be doing all your communication here, and you are going to be taking screenshots of all of your communication, and you're going to go and upload all of that communication in the actual work you are going to be submitting at the end. So please make sure you go and make sure you do all of that very specific information. So what I want from you now is I want you to go to slack.com. I want you to then go and actually create an account, and then I want you to go and add your friends to that specific account. So the emails of your team members, I need you to add and invite all your team members to attend that group, and then I need you to start communicating using that chat. And then I would like to have a quick look, log in, make sure that you guys have done what is expected at that particular point of time. So could you please start working on that now? And while you're working on it, I'll just wait until you finish it. And then you did some communication, and then from there, I'll be able to go and go to the next step. Any questions, guys? Alrighty, so start with the task now. Yes, my friend, tell me.
Sir, when I check my marks on Moodle,
I can't hear you. Can you type? I can't hear you.
So when I check my Moodle,
my friend, please type, because there's a lot of background. I can't hear what you're saying. It's very, very loud. Could you please type? Just type it through. I'll read it. Guys, it's very, I recommend that group leaders go and create those logins, or if you want to create a account on Slack, and then they can invite everybody. But it's good if the actual group leader basically create the main account. All right, guys, I just want to check if you guys have let me just go to continue to the system. Just want to check whether you guys have completed the account. So I'm going to go and ask Siobhan, has you created the actual account?
Yeah, we have.
Did you start communicating together? Did you add everybody else?
Yeah, we're all on it.
Perfect. Prahlad?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I'm on mobile, so I wonder I can do this from the mobile or not.
Well, of course you can. Yeah, you can, but you need to go and create an account, create the login. So did any of your team members create the actual account yet?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, my friend, you know, I asked for something to be done because it needs to be done, because there's no other chance. We're going to be going on leave for 2 weeks. And if you guys don't do what you're supposed to do, it's going to make your job much more harder. So could you please just follow my instructions and do what you're required to do, please? And if there's any other team members here, could you please ask them to do the same thing, please? So maybe if you're in a car, if you're driving, if you're doing whatever, please stop on the side and do what you're required to do. Just create an account and then please invite your friends using the email addresses that you have, because I need to make sure you guys could start communicating on that system to ensure you're going to be able to get the marks. Because if you communicate on WhatsApp or on any other place, you won't get a mark for your work. So you need to use this system and only this system. So please, my friend, just create it here. Is there anybody else from your group here, Prahlad?
Yes,
Anyway,
sir.
okay, have you guys created the account?
Yeah, I did, sir.
Okay, did you invite Prahlad?
No, I haven't.
Could you invite everybody now? Create an account, invite everybody. I need to make sure you guys are communicating. Otherwise, we would not have actually done that specific task. Okay? Let's do it now. Bikram,
Yes, sir.
have you done the job?
Yeah, we are communicating.
You started. Perfect. And Muhammad Aslan Idris, Shishir, Riddhi Kumar, Raj, any one of you here? Group 4, anyone here? Okay, group 5, Ashish Nimal, Zahur, have you guys created that?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So what I want to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Could, Siobhan, could you please share your screen with us, please? And then show us what you've done. So just share your screen now, please. And show us the communication, and everybody else would be able to have an idea. Perfect. So, so you have a individual direct messages. Okay, is the Agile case study up there? Is that the channel you created? So is on the top the channel, is the Agile case study, is that where you're going to be communicating?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's the main one. So anything you do here, let's say there's a document you guys working on. Let's say there's a file they're going to send you. Let's say there's a question they're going to ask. Everything that's going to go and be done needs to be done using this specific location, because that's very important from a perspective of ensuring that the actual everybody communicated equally, people have done a job, and it will be used when we're actually trying to go and decide on what mark people are going to get. So if we see, for example, some people communicate nothing, some people communicate a lot, then basically that's going to have a direct influence on how much mark each person is going to go and be getting. So please bear that in mind very well, because if you don't communicate, you won't be able to go and get the outcome. It's very, very important you consider that specific perspective. Now, I'm going to go to the next task. So I'm going to stop sharing your screen here. And I'm going to go to sharing my screen. So this is really what we've done. You know, we went to slack.com. We click on downloads. We basically, you installed it. If there's groups who haven't done that yet, guys, please, I beg you to make sure you do it today, because it's very important you communicate using that system. Anything outside that system won't be able to show us who's doing what at any particular point of time, at any particular day, and it basically will actually go and influence the mark you are going to be getting. So please make sure you bear that in mind when you're trying to go and decide how you're going to go and actually work on this specific task. Now, we spoke about the assignment. The same case study will be utilized again for assignment 2, but with new constraints. So the constraints for this assignment is the scope as per the assignment 2. So what we need to do is not changing. The duration to complete the task, it must be done within 4 months. The budget is below $1 million Australian dollars. The assessment will utilize agile method of Kanban, and the groups will need to go and write a report that compares and contrasts the different methods relating to the advantages and disadvantages of Pinbook versus agile. So a few things really here to go and bear in mind in terms of the work that needs to be done. But basically, this comparison approach that we're basically mentioning here a lot of time is an approach that goes and a lot of time happens in the final exam. So it's very important to consider all of that information, because you're going to need to go and demonstrate you have had all of that understanding when you're trying to go and complete the final exam. Anything that shows a lack of understanding or not showing how to apply the tools will influence on your marks. So my advice to you is you spend a lot of time ensuring you understand this assignment, you understand how it needs to be done, because whenever you go and get asked final exam question, a lot of it could go and actually be built on some of that information that we're covering here. So this is the timeline. So Siobhan, you asked me when is it due, yeah? So the setup Teams in Slack, screen print of setup and message exhibiting cooperation. So you guys are working together. It's basically due on the 10th of January. Now, what have I done today? I went and I helped you to go and create that account now to be able to ensure you're going to get that mark very, very easily. You just need to start communicating there, engaging there, and that directly equals you are going to be able to go and be getting that specific mark. So the first part really is almost done, and that's basically what needs to go and actually happen. The second part of it is using Trello for project management, okay? Screen print storyboards and showing assignments to sprints. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, I want you to go and probably when we come back from the lecture, they're gonna tell us, now create this information. But what I wanna do, instead of actually delaying you, if anybody wanna start working on their assignment now, I wanna give you the option to be able to start working on that particular assignment. So what I wanna do is, I want you now to go, rather than wait, I want you to go and create your teams on Trello now, because it's obviously two systems you need to go and communicate in, and it's about understanding how to make all of that communication. So the last part is about submitting the whole work, and that's basically not due till 31st of January. But obviously there's a couple of things that are going to be needed between here and then, and obviously we're gonna need to answer assignment task 5 questions. But before we do that, I want you to go to start, let's start working on this second task. Let's start doing it now. Like, why am I gonna delay it if I can do it now? So let me go with you here. I want you to go to Trello.com. And the same thing you went and you did for the first system, which is Slack, I want you to go and do exactly the same thing. And I would like you to go and spend the next 5 minutes creating an account in Trello and adding your colleagues to go in Trello. So start working on that now. I'll give you about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll be able to discuss that in a bit more further details. Any questions? Okay, let's work. Okay, guys, so I got a question here. So we start a 30-day free trial or another. Well, it's usually it is for free. So I actually done it before, and it doesn't really only give me 30 days free trial. Like, I can actually use it for free. So if there has been a change, I'm not sure about it. Did everybody was asked to go and do a 30 days free trial? Continue with Google. How did everyone go with the setup? Okay, so not everybody. So you don't need to go through a 30 days free trial. Like you can go and just log in straight away, create your team and just go straight away. It's not simply 30 days trial. That's the answer I'm getting from other students because usually it's not. Usually you can use it as long as you need. How are you going, Bikram, with that?
Can I share my screen?
Yep.
It
So
shows like this.
you don't need all of these power upgrades. It's just free for teams. The one on the left, free.
This one?
Yeah, like usually free. And I didn't even get that. Like, can you log out and log back in and try to set up? I didn't even get this. So I don't know what you clicked, but mine didn't actually get any of that. So go at the bottom. Go at the bottom. Start without business class. Click on that. That's it. Yep. Let's go. Nice work. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So that's really the first two systems. So you see. Can you see the board? Can you click on? Show us your screen again. Yeah. Can you click on boards on the top left-hand corner? On top left. You click on board. So this is where you click on any of those boards. Project management. Yeah, that's just the sort of boards you're going to need to go and be creating. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to I'll try to show you a bit of a video relating to that very shortly. But
how to add members?
How to what?
Members. I mean group members.
Well, you need to go and add people. You see on top this plus sign. Just try the plus sign. The top. Just try the plus sign on the top right-hand corner. I think that's usually the one. Just click on it. Create a team, and then you'll be able to join a team. Alrighty, mate?
Yep.
No worries. Okay. What I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to give you the normal break I go and give you, and then I'll be able to go and continue with the remaining information. I want to show you a video about how I tell my students who are doing a postgraduate course, how I tell them to go and use it. So I'm going to go and play that for you a bit later, but I'll give you 10 minutes break, guys. But what I want to tell you is, great, you've just done a great advantage. You just went into creating two tools, two systems that you're going to be using, and that's at least getting you 2-3 marks for your assignment. We haven't even started. So let's talk about that in further details. And for now, just take a 10 minutes break, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes. Any question before I let you go? All right, guys, enjoy your break. We'll continue in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much. What I want to do now, guys, is I want to really go and show you a video. Now, what I want to say is that video is done for my, I recorded that for my Masters of Project Management class. So it is really not simply about, your subject here, but it's really more about, the principle is really the same. And I'll show you what I mean. So don't worry about all of this information I'll be mentioning in this video about the marking guide or anything like that, because all of this marking guide and that information is actually not relevant to you. But everything else is actually very relevant to you, and it's really about thinking about how you need to go and answer that question. So I'm going to just play it for you, so that you guys will have the idea of what you need to be doing as part of your assignment. But as I remind you, nothing about the marking guide or the contribution or anything like this is relevant. Only the content about how you need to be doing your Trello use, how you're going to use Trello to be able to produce the right outcome. So this is a video. I'm going to play it for you now. It runs for actually quite a bit, but it is very, very valuable for you to listen and understand what you need to do, how you're going to apply your assignment from a Trello perspective. So it's very important you understand that. It really builds on what I've basically spoke about today. I told you if we're going to go and develop an application for a bank, you might have so many features, deposit funds, withdraw funds, transfer money, run reports, statements, change withdrawing limit, all of these things we spoke about. So these things, guys, you know, that relates to all of these items that are on the product backlog. So the product backlog basically have all of these items we want to go and do, and it's basically organized based on priority. So you can change the color. All of this that I'm going to show you now has been done in Trello. So it's all basically the same thing you guys would need to go and do. So I'll run the video now, and anytime I find that it's no longer relevant, I'll stop it. But as I said, I'll repeat again, any of the marking guide or any of the information about the marking guide is not relevant. So please do not worry about that. In this very small video, because I would like you to go and make sure you very clearly understand what I expect you to go and be doing as part of your, if you want, the Slack and the Trello sections of your task 2. Now, I want you to think about the task from a very simple perspective. Today, I've explained to you the whole concept of Scrum. I've explained to you how things go and actually get created. So if we're going to go and start thinking about your assessment, anything you are going to be doing in your assessment, I want you to think about the marking rubric. So if I look at the marking rubric, there's a task 1, there's a task 2, there's a format, there's an introduction. I want you to think about the marking rubric and everything that you guys are doing. When you are going to be writing about your contribution, what I want you to do is I want you to go and create a table. Other side, you can, that's what I would like. I'm just removing the stuff that are not relevant.
Back to the all. You won't get the full. Would like to go this concept into much more details. You guys have created.
Okay, this is kind of somewhat relevant. So just understand that you can understand.
User stories that are relating to all of these requirements. And you guys started thinking about who are the users, and you even created user stories that are not simply based on what is in here. Now, all of these user stories that have worked to help you to go and create, what do you actually do with them? Well, what do you do is you're going to have to go and you have to go and start opening Trello. So what are you going to need to go and be doing in terms of Trello? Well, I need you to go and look at Trello. And I need you to go and ensure you look at the backlog. Now, guys, what's the first thing that happens in the backlog? The first thing is we're going to have create user stories, and then we create a section called product backlog. That's the first thing. Now, what we're going to do is there's going to be a product owner who is really selecting the prioritization of all of these backlogs. Let's say green might be low level. Let's say these are all, low level. There's all of these things. You basically create all user stories based on their level of priority. Okay, so let's say here I have another label. That's a level of priority. So we create this, and I obviously know the priority of all of these backlogs. That is the first stage of your work. You take a picture. Okay, there's a sprint one to do, done. Actually to do. Let's say work in progress, done. I'm just highlighting any names, by the way, guys. Sprint 2 to do, doing, or work in progress, done. And there's either release. You're going to have to release the work that you're doing. So what you might think about then as you work, you say, okay, now I'm going to take a picture and show Fadi that I've created more than one state, and I've created more than one sprint, and I've created more than one release. Then I see, okay, you know what you're doing. The next stage you want to actually go and do, you'll say, okay, now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to think about all of these user stories, think about how do they actually relate to the assignment. Can I, for example, do these user stories that relate to this and this together? Because then I can have a ready product, and maybe I do this and this in another let's say sprint, because they will get me another working product. You basically start adding all of these together. You think which user stories could be added together. Let's say you say that, let's say we go here and you say that, okay, I'm going to go to these user stories, and let's say in your head, you say this, let's say this one, and this one, and let's say this one, and this one are all related to, let's say, the first two points of your assignment. And you add another one here. Okay, this is a sprint 1. Sprint 2, you add all of this information here. Say, okay, sprint 1 and sprint 2. Say, okay, I'm going to be doing this in sprint 2 because they're all related. So what you do here is you can then take another picture. Say, okay, now I'm going to show Fadi that I showed them that we're going to go and start doing the movement of the sprint, and we're going to start working on the task. Then what you do is you have to click on each task and say, okay, this is the first task. You're going to start working. Maybe you create a checklist. Okay, task 1, whatever that is, needs to be done. Okay, you add it. You then also say we'd like to go and add another, task 2, task 3. Okay, you basically decide how you're going to go and do things, but you notice there's more than one task. Okay, you basically highlight the progress. If you click on this task, you can actually go and say, all right, this task is completed. This task is completed. This task is completed. You can basically start showing what has been done. So you can add all of these tasks that you have, as many tasks as you would like. You basically add them down here. Or you can say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add activity. I don't want to add tasks. I want to add them all as activities. Activity 1, activity 2, activity 3. So you basically start thinking, you name those activities. Like, what are the activities required for me to do a whatever story, create a login page? What are the activities? Start showing me that you think about the activities. When you think about them, you can put a label, for example. When you think about them, you can assign members. Okay, when you think about them, you can go and put a due date. Okay, when you think about them, you can go and, if you want, attach a work or information. When you think about them, you can decide that you want to watch it. You do whatever you would like, but once you start doing all of these tasks and you basically put the due dates and whatever it is, then you can. I can see this here. So if you basically created those details and created deadlines and images, I can see them. I can see that you're watching it. I can see that there's a due date. I can see that there are 3 tasks or whatever. You can see all of these things actually being entered in. You can click on that, for example, take me a screenshot, put it in your assignment. You can do the same thing for the others, take a screenshot, put it in your assignment. Then what you would do, you would basically start moving the activity, show me that the work has been actually done. You might take another screenshot, like after you've added all the details and you've added due dates and you sent to people. You can take another screen to show me, you click this, you take a screenshot, you click this, you take a screenshot, click this, you take a screenshot. Then you might take a picture here to show me that the work went to work in progress. And when you basically move all your work to show me that the work has moved to done. Okay. There might be, by the way, you might here also show me that there have been other things added to the backlog. Like, it's up to you. You can show me that information, but you can take a screenshot again to show me that it's, you could potentially click here and say, all right, that's done and that's done and whatever, like all of these things is completed. And then we can know that this, and then you can take a screen to show me that it's been completed. You can take the screenshot, show it in your work. And eventually, you can take all of these user stories, put them towards the end, and you can show me, take a screenshot, all of these items that has been created are now going to be moved for the release, because we need to release whatever we have. This is a product that we are going to be releasing to the client, and we are going to actually be giving that to the client. Now that's from the perspective of the Agile. From another perspective, something that is very, very important for you to know is the following. I'm going to mention them now. 1, I need to make sure that there's the cover page of KOI. I need you to make sure that if there's an executive summary, it is coming before the table of content. And you need to make sure that when you do a table of content, you do numbering, like introduction 1.0, task 2, and whatever you title for that task 2, you might name that number 2. And then you might actually put 2.1 something else, 2.2 something else, 2.3. And this something else could be, I don't know, the scope, the charter, the plan, the budget, the risk management, whatever it is. You need to go and actually create subsections for those. I want you to make sure you are going to show me in your plan that you've created a very detailed plan. Like, if my requirements are stipulated here in your plan, I want to see that you're thinking about that. Like, you might name it, say, stage 1 or whatever, planning for official information advice. Like that might be your section. That might be what you want to actually name it. But I want to see that you thought about these names. You thought about these things in your work. I want to see that your plan that you're creating in Microsoft Project or any other tool where you can add a lot of details in is incorporating these things specifically. I don't want it to be a general plan. I want it to be a more than a Gantt chart. I need you to show me, as much details as you to start this occurring. I want all of this information to again be shown in my.
Okay, guys, the remaining information is not relevant. The remaining information is more about the traditional project management. But every other information that I mention here is actually relevant. So did you guys have a better idea on what you need to do in terms of the Agile perspective? Do you have any question about Agile? Anyone? Okay. So if you basically understood those two videos that I've played them, so you should now be able to go and start working based on your using Slack and using Trello. Now you're going to go and say, okay, what are we going to be doing? Well, let's go and look at your assignment. Your assignment is basically telling you that you have the same case as assignment 2. Now, if it's the same case as assignment 2, you need to go and write what is known as, user stories. So if I go here and I say, okay, the systems, you need to select the content management system. Okay, you want to have a system module that actually can display player details and statistics. Okay, so this is something like this is like your requirement. So you will need to go and write something called a user story. So I'm going to kind of try to give you an example, guys. Users. Okay, if we think about KOI, and if we think about using the Moodle system, can you tell me who are the different people who use the Moodle system? What sort of users use the Moodle system? What can you think about? Who uses Moodle?
Students and teachers.
Okay, so there's students, 1, and there's teachers, 2. Anybody else?
Maintenance.
Admin.
Maintenance. Okay, that's fine. So you said students, teachers, and maintenance. Now, let me ask you a question. Do students do the same task as teachers?
No.
No. Teacher
What does a student do? What does a student do?
get access to subjects.
Okay, so what do you want? Okay, so access to subjects. What else?
Submit assignments.
Submit tasks. Okay.
Get access
View
to
grades.
View grades. Okay, that's fine. So let me ask you a question. Access the subject, download the materials, submit the tasks, and view the grade. Can you tell me, are these the same or different? Are these, what are these? What are they called? Are they the same tasks or are they different tasks? I want to access the subject. That's one task. I want to download the materials. That's another task. I want to submit my assessments. That's another task. I want to view my grades. That's another task. So when you talk about Agile, this is the sort of things I call features. Now, I showed you earlier that there's a product backlog. Can anybody remind me what is a product backlog? What is a backlog? Come on, guys. Don't be scared.
New features.
New features. Okay, that's fine. So we are talking about all of these new features, correct? So if I was to go and talk about that particular assignment, and I talk, let's say, I'm going to give the example of you guys are students, you have all of those features. These features, you will write them here. You will write them. If I was to go and use that video that I've had before as an example, you will actually go and write them all in here. So you would write all of those features. Okay, so if I was to talk about all of these features, you will write them here in the product backlog. You will make the priority to see which one is higher priority, which one is lower priority. Now, the question is, how do you write them? And the answer is very simple. To write them, every user story needs to be written by including 3 things. The first thing is you need to indicate who the user is. In the example of I want to be able to submit my tasks, who is the user?
Student.
Okay, so you will say as a student. Okay, comma. What does the student want to do?
Submit up.
I want to be able to submit my tasks. Great. Why do you want to be able to submit the task? What's the purpose?
Get a good grade.
So that I can get a grade for my assignment. So there's 3 things you write in a user story. As a user, whoever the user is, I want to be able to do something to achieve something else. In the example that I gave you as a student, the user could be as a student. The user could be as a lecturer. The user could be as a maintenance person. So the user could be someone who's different. The user story needs to write what does the user needs to do. So as a user, I want to be able to submit my assignment so that I can get a mark for my task. How can we ensure this is something then we call success criteria? How do we ensure that that user story was achieved? Well, we will check and we will find out that user A was able to log into the system and successfully submitted an assignment and was able to get a grade for that assignment. This is really verifying that the user story that we wanted to achieve has actually been achieved in practice. So there's a user story, how you write it, and on your assessment, this is where you write the user story, but in your assessment, you will write acceptance criteria. How do we make sure that that user story has actually been delivered? How do we verify that the task was being completed? So it's very, very important when you're writing your assignment to ask yourself a very, very important question. And the question really relates, in your example, the question relate to that. The question to relate to who is going to be using the system? Who is going to go and need to go and get a player details and statistics? Who is going to need to go and actually have souvenirs sold? Oh, as a sales, I don't know, as a merchandise salesperson, I should be able to whatever, okay? As a team manager, I should be able to do manager something. As a coach, I should be able to do something. So the first thing you need to do before you decide what user stories you're going to go and have, you need to ensure that you actually considered who the users really are at any particular point of time. Okay? If you haven't started considering who the users of the system are, you won't be able to write all the user stories about all of these users. So it's very, very important that you have a clear table, and that clear table really stipulates who the actual user really is. I'm going to try to, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to try to find you an example. I'm going to try to find an example from before to kind of show you what I'm talking about in terms of identifying the users. Just give me 1 second. And obviously it's different assignment, but as I said, the foundations are the same. Okay, perfect. Just trying to get you to get to that stage so that you can understand. Okay, look, this is an example of an assignment that one of my students have done. And you can see here, they identified who the users are. We have directors, we have administrators, we have employees, but that was a totally different assignment. But you can see how there are different users, and you need to define your users also. And then once you define your users, you can write the user stories. So as a director, as a report generator. So you come here, director, okay, and like you see, they spoke about report, yeah, look, as a report generator. So as a director, I want an account on the portal, okay, great, so that I could have superior authority. So that's telling me exactly why they're doing something. Now, then you need to have an acceptance criteria. How do we know that that user story was delivered? Given that I'm a director, when I submit my details and Australian Government Officer ID, a unique credentials should be allocated to me. When I want to log in the portal, it should allow me with superior authority. Like, this is not very well written acceptance criteria. The acceptance criteria could be more as, I, as a director, I was able to go and log in on the system. I was able to go and, put all of my details. I was able to go and create an account, get authorization, and log into the system. That could be my acceptance criteria, that when I go and I finish my project, I go to this acceptance criteria, I'll try to test it and see, well, am I able to do what I need to do? Yes, okay, great, then that user story has been successfully delivered. So you guys, I'm going a bit more than what we're basically supposed to be doing today, just simply because I want to give you the heads up to go over the holiday. You'll be able to go and start working on Slack and on Trello. You'll be able to start setting up who the users are. You'll be able to start creating the user stories. So you'll be able to do a lot of work relating to that particular assignment. Do you have any questions? Is everything that I'm explaining so far clear?
Yeah, so we can just start talking on Slack next year, right?
You can start talking on Slack, you can start setting up Trello, you can start dividing the tasks, you can do whatever you would like.
Yeah, it's all set up, so yeah, all right, no worries.
So start communication, start deciding what tasks you want to do, start if you want to, let's say, set up team meetings, make team meetings, whatever you want to do, start communicating. But my also question is, do you guys understand how you're going to use Slack? Sorry, how you're going to use Trello? Is it clear how you're going to need to use Trello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, this is a lot of details, and this is really what my students in postgraduate project management do a lot of times. They basically have to apply those principles, and you guys also need to use Slack and Trello and apply a lot of the principles. So go on. If there's anything you're not sure about, you can always ask me. We're very, very happy to help you. Or if this is a recording also, so if you're not in my class, you can ask your tutor, and he'll be able to give you a lot of guidance, or he or she. Go on.
So we are getting the previous assignment example also or not this time? Because it will be great help.
To be honest with you, it is not really my decision when it comes to what answers get published. I think it's a good idea to potentially email the coordinator. I assume he might want to do that, but just follow up with him to confirm whether he want to do that, because I'm not sure if he's going to do it. Maybe he's going to do it later, but I wasn't given any information whether one is going to be provided for this assignment.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem at all. Any other questions? All right. I'm going to go now to the the question that we went through today, or all the materials. What are the benefits of Agile project management? Well, there are so many benefits we've mentioned. Not all of them are actually happy here, but mentioned here. But like, for example, happy team, motivated team, which basically all lead to productivity. Getting the products delivered much more quicker, which all lead to getting more revenue. delivering the features that we want into quicker, which again means that I am very, very delivering things quicker to the market. I'm delivering the right product because we keep on changing what we are delivering according to what the client is requesting at any point of time. So all of this means we are delivering a better, the right product, exactly what the customer wants from us. And if we are delivering exactly what the customer wants from us, then we are really delivering happy stakeholders. If the stakeholder is happy, everybody else is happy, guys. We're delivering quality because it's, Agile is only about delivering, technical excellence. So if there's something we do not need to go and write as a code, why do we need to write it? We don't need to. We'll just avoid that altogether rather than have to actually go and worry about that. We speak about visibility. When I talk about visibility, it's about ensuring what is visibility? Like what I'm going to talk about is ensuring that everything is basically very clearly showing. So the word is, if I was to talk about a system like Trello, for example, Trello gives you all of this visibility. You can see things very clearly at any point of time. And because you see all of that information very clearly, you'll be able to know which feature there is, who's working on what, is it in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all of that information is very easily available and viewable at any particular point of time. So it's about really thinking about all of these items that are available and this visibility that gets created accordingly. What are the disadvantages of Agile? Well, Agile project management has disadvantages. Less easy identification of risks and poor management of resources, simply because we don't do so much upfront planning. If we do so much upfront planning, it will be very easy for us to be able to get the right outcomes and get the right risk identified. But because we don't do any of that, it basically, it is basically a bit harder for us to actually go and get the risks. The risks basically come up as we start progressing with working on a project. A flexible system like Agile can make it difficult to focus and finish the project simply because, as I said, we are flexible. We want to give the client exactly what they want. And because we're trying to give the client exactly what they want, if the requirements of the client go and change at any particular point of time, and if we keep on saying, yep, no problem, what's going to happen is we will get to a stage where our project is not going to finish. It's going to keep on going and going and going. And what you need to know is there need to be a stage where you're going to say, enough is enough, I need to go and stop. So it's something to really go and bear in mind as part of your work. It's just not simply about continue going. It's about knowing when to stop because you've already reached the benefits you would like to go and actually reach. We spoke about the 12 principles of the Agile Manifesto. Could anybody explain these things for me? Any of these? I've tried to explain them earlier. Could anybody try to explain any of these for me? Anyone? Okay, so the first one is about satisfying the customer and seeing exactly what the customer really wants. It's about really always trying to meet the needs of the customer. Because we want to keep on meeting the needs of the customer, it means that anytime the client's going to come to me and say, look, I would like some extra changes, I will need to go and incorporate those changes and try to deliver what the client really wants from me. It's about delivering things frequently. Usually Agile delivers every 4 weeks. That's the usual one. It could be every 6 weeks. It could be every 2 weeks. But usually the sprints we go and set up to go and deliver a working feature is usually about 4 weeks. We collaborate every day. We speak to people. We discuss things with people. So all of this is about really collaboration, discussing things, getting the right outcomes. Support and trust motivated teams. So when I say, support them, if they don't know how to do something, it's about you really supporting them, guiding them, telling them how things need to be done. Trust motivated teams. In other words, I want to trust people in doing the job. I'm not going to go and simply say, oh, I'm going to go and be your manager. I'm going to simply say, I trust that you can do what you need to do, and I'm going to go and guide you on doing the right outcome. Promote face-to-face conversations, people speaking together, getting the right job all the time. Deliver a software that actually works for people, not a software that sometimes works, sometimes not works. So working software is one that is really, really important, something that you can actually go and deliver to the client very quickly. Promote sustainable pace. That's why every 4 weeks we have a circle, another circle, another circle. We keep on delivering something, keep on learning from it. Promote technical excellence because, you know, we don't want any bugs in our code. We want everything to be bug-free and working as expected. Maximize through simplicity. In other words, if there is any code we don't need to write, why do we want to go and worry about writing it if we cannot worry about it? Have a self-organized teams that, you know, they tell each other what they need to do based on understanding who is very strong at what. And don't say, I am good and I don't need to change. Reflect and adjust regularly to be able to go and continue to reach the right outcomes. It's all about always trying to go and improve to get the right outcomes. What are the two main frameworks used in Agile? Well, we spoke about Scrum and we spoke about Kanban. The Scrum is like, you know, for example, you know, Scrum planning session, you know, Scrum retrospective. Well, actually, it's really about everything related to Scrum, but it's about, you know, sprint planning, sprint retrospectives. It's about, you know, daily Scrum meetings. All of these things are things that are related to Scrum that we're going to go and talk in more details about as we move along. But there's also the Kanban. Kanban is really that, that visibility, that board that shows you at any point of time what we need to go and work on. And that's exactly the board that I went and showed you when I went and showed you the video about creating that Trello system. So Trello is exactly the same thing, guys. It's basically a Kanban board that shows you all the work that needs to be done, show you who's doing what, show you how things are progressing. But instead of doing it on the paper, you're actually doing it on a system, which basically allows you to go and create all of these user stories and deal with them accordingly. So these are the two main things you need to worry about, discussing a lot of the stages related to the Kanban system. What are the basics of Slack? Well, we've already did some information about Slack. I'm gonna just try to see if that's the same video that we've already done. No, well, if I was to go and show you here, you know, there's all of these, see all the features, you know, channels, Slack Connect, messaging, video, and voice calls. So this is all, you know, extra information you can have a look at. You can use it in the basic way if you want to as a Slack, or you can go into more detailed features. But bottom line, guys, communicate with each other here. Create, if you want, channels if you want to. And this is really as much as what you need to go and worry about when it comes to this assignment. And take all of these screenshots, put them in your assignment, and so on. My dear, beautiful students, do you have any questions? Any questions at all? Okay, guys, look, I would like to go and really wish you a very, very safe break. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you guys. If not, just enjoy, you know, the season break. Have fun and work also hard if you can. But also, I want to really wish you a very enjoyable end of the year. I hope the next year is going to be one that is very, very successful to you guys. And I want to let you know that, again, as I always say, I do care about you. And I really, really wish you the best. And I really consider you as my children. And I want you to go and actually ensure you get the best possible outcomes. So please learn hard, study hard. If there's anything you're not sure about, we are only one email or one phone call away from you. So you can just make contact with us and we'll be very happy to help you, me or any of our colleagues. But just remember, we care about you. Just remember to enjoy yourself. And, you know, we wish you the best in the new year. and hopefully you're always going to have success and prosperity. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and have a great break. 2 weeks break. We'll see you back in 2 weeks.